Let's get some price picks in today, guys. Last night I almost hit this 25x. Look at this, one bucket away from getting that nice 6 for 6. Did not cash it. And then the pick from the YouTube video went 4-2. Honestly, it sucks because I was going to put Kevin Durant here on his over points instead of Devin Booker. But if you watched last night's video, you know that he got bumped as I was filming. So I said, let me go with Booker instead since we got that pre-bump value, and it ended up costing us here. Still 4-2, which is pretty good, but you could see the Poole plus Corey correlation I was going for. It did not end up panning out. Corey ended up popping off with the 23 points, but the Houston stack I was going for ended up going perfectly. 6 assists only on Van Vliet and only 5 points on Dillon Brooks. We'll take that 4-2, and then we'll get on the board for today. I do have an NBA/soccer slip. I'm just going to get into the soccer right away because I know no one really cares about it. I'm going with Ollie Watkins on the under 3 shots. Now, the thing is, this game starts in 55 minutes. Maybe some of you who watched this in like the first 20 minutes that this video is out, you're going to be able to get this line, but I'm going to be showing you a replacement for this pick. The only reason I'm showing you Ollie Watkins in the first place is because I already made this exact slip with Ollie Watkins in the slip. So when I recap my video tomorrow, you'll see I have this in my specific slip. Anyways, if you guys are able to tail it. If not, I'm going to show you a replacement. That's going to be the first pick. And basically, this is just straight positive EV. If you go to the picks on the OddsJuice dashboard, you see there's about a 64% chance that he stays under 3.5 shots. We have him at 3, so we don't have him at that 3.5, but we do have that very good push potential that he's at least going to touch 3. And if he pushes, we just revert down to that 5 flex and get a 10x payout for a 5 for 5. So I'm happy with that. Now, the second pick is much better because it doesn't have push potential. It's this guy here, Christian Espinoza, on the under 2.5 shots. So minus 141 fair odds, meaning about a 58.5% chance that he goes under this prop. Now, in soccer, there's a lot of DNPs because you're not sure who's going to start until an hour before the game. But both these guys are in the expected starting lineup, so I'm hoping both of them play. Like I said, a lot of you watching are probably not going to get Ollie Watkins in, but you could easily get Espinoza in because he starts at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. So that is the first 2 soccer picks. The next ones are going to be straight NBA. So here's where I'm going to get a little bit more in depth into these picks. Now let's start off with this Bucks game. If we check the Bucks versus the Atlanta Hawks, we see Pat Bev game time decision, Middleton game time decision, and Giannis game time decision. The first pick I'm going to go with is going to be from this Bucks team. I'm going to be going with Beasley on his over 13.5 points. There's a couple reasons I like this pick, and one of them is kind of obvious. You see right here a lot of game time decisions. If Middleton or Giannis are out, I mean, Pat Bev doesn't really matter too much, but if Middleton and Giannis specifically are out, that's going to really help Beasley's line. He's probably going to get bumped to like 14.5 points because he's going to get more usage and more opportunity to score points for the team, especially with Giannis being out. If Giannis is out, that's going to be amazing for Beasley points. But on top of that, if we go on Fanny Pros and we check what position lets in the most points to the shooting guard position, of course, where Beasley is playing, you'll see it's actually the Atlanta Hawks, and that's who they're playing tonight. 24.47 points on average to that position. I mean, the Hawks let a lot of points in general. They're 4th in the league versus all positions cumulatively, but the shooting guard is their worst defensive position. If we go and check the point guard, for example, they're all the way down here. I don't even know where they are. Atlanta Hawks, all the way down here versus point guards. Shooting guards, number 1 worst. So shooting guard is really that position you want to be targeting when you're grabbing that opposing player. And on top of it, if we go and check this matchup, it looks very good for us. I mean, the total is not that high, but the spread is looking nice. -4 means it should be a tight game. There's higher chances of overtime, and there's higher chances that the starters are going to be getting more minutes. If it's not a blowout by the third quarter up 30, obviously there's no reason to play the starters. In this case, if it's a tight game, 5-6 points within the last few minutes, every starter is going to be playing down to that last minute. And if we go over to Pinnacle, we can see what is the line on Beasley's 13.5 points. Heavy juice towards his over 13.5. -152 is a lot. I'm surprised this line has not been bumped yet on Prizepicks. I could see it being at 14, especially if there's injury news where Middleton or Giannis is out. You're going to see this get bumped. So I'm definitely loving Beasley's over 13.5 points, but I figured might as well grab Giannis in this slip too on his over assists. And the reason we're going for this, honestly, if Giannis doesn't end up playing, it doesn't really matter. Like I said, it only helps Beasley's line. So we're locking in a good line on Beasley either way. If Giannis doesn't play, we just get a DNP. If they both play, I think there's going to be some very good synergy here because Giannis's line on the sportsbook, first of all, is set at 7.5. So if I go back on Pinnacle and check Giannis, you see over 7.5 assists is where his line is set at on the sportsbook. Yes, there's juice towards his under, but at 7, we're getting that very nice push potential, so we're not too concerned with that. It would be a bad play at 7.5, but at 7, we're getting a good line. Plus, we get that synergy with Beasley because, again, Beasley is one of these players who gets a lot of assisted points. If we go and check his assisted field goal made, 86.7% of his field goal made are going to be assisted, and his 3-pointers are assisted 95% of the time, and about 75% of his points are coming from 3-pointers. Of course, that builds very nicely off Giannis' assists. When Beasley is going to be getting points, there's a high probability that Giannis is going to be at least assisting him for some of the points. Obviously, not all of them, but a good portion of that. And you could also think of a game state where Giannis is getting less points, the players around him are getting more points, and Giannis is doing the assisting rather than the scoring in this specific game. It could be he's doing both, but I'm just saying, for example, that is why this has so much synergy between these two players. And last thing to check is the assists allowed versus certain positions. I mean, the Hawks let in a lot of assists just in general. You can see here they're up at top 4 easiest matchup. If you go check the point guard position, they're top 10 in assists allowed. Shooting guard, they are also in that top 10. Small forward, they are top 2, and power forward, where Giannis is playing, still in that top 10. So it's not the best positional matchup in terms of assists. It would be nice to have a small forward on the over assist. It could make sense to grab Middleton on his over assist, honestly, but I do like Giannis's line at 7, and that's why I'm preferring Giannis over Middleton in this case. See, Middleton's line is set too high. I don't really like it at 7 compared to Giannis at 7. If we check the sports books, we can see Middleton's actually set at 6.5. So you see the difference here. Giannis was set at 7.5, Middleton set at 6.5, but they're both set on 7 on Prizepicks. Obviously, Giannis over assist is the better play here. That being said, if Middleton was at 6.5 assists, I would definitely hammer that, especially because of the positional matchup. It is better. So that's going to be it for the Bucks. Moving on, we're going to go over to Orlando. And honestly, both these lines are way too low. I'm surprised they're not bumped yet. Let's see right here. Wagner on the over 4.5 rebounds. This is an absolute steal. I don't care about the past 5. And I don't care that he only averaged 2.8 in the last 5. This line is an absolute steal. We're going to go check this on the sports books, for example, just to start. So Orlando Magic, if we go and check Wagner here, he is set at 5.5 rebounds on the sports books, which means on Prizepicks we're getting a full rebound because we have him at 4.5, and we could check what the juice is on this specific over 4.5 prop. If we go over to Wagner's rebounds, you can see these alternative lines. Again, another sportsbook that has him at 5.5, but the 5+ rebounds, which is over 4.5, is set at minus 170. If we go and devig that, or like just grab out the juice of the sports books, minus 170 essentially means about a 60% chance that he hits that line. So this line on Prizepicks is an absolute steal. We should not be getting props that hit at about 60%, and that's exactly what this Wagner prop is here. This line should easily be set at 5. We're getting about 4.5. So just based on the sportsbooks line, I would take this any day of the week without doing any further research, but I know you guys like that further research, so we're going to get into the matchup that they have tonight versus the Memphis Grizzlies. Now this could be a blowout, and it's a very low total, maybe not a lot of shots because both super low paced teams. If we go and check the all here, rebounds allowed. Yes, the Orlando Magic allows the least rebounds. If we check the Grizzlies, though, they allow the most rebounds. And the position they allow the most rebounds to is the small forward position, of course, where Wagner is playing. So this is an absolute steal in terms of the value, as well as the matchup that he has here. As long as he's getting decent minutes, it's not a complete blowout. I think he catches this line very easily. Now to pair this up with is another line that is too low. It should be at 36.5. We're getting at 35.5. That's going to be Paolo Banchero on his over 35.5 PRA. Another player that hasn't cleared this in his past 5. Who's averaging way less than the line is set at. But look at the games he had to play. Clippers, Golden State, Sacramento, Pelicans. Obviously, Charlotte is an easy one where he only got 19. But the Grizzlies is going to be a much easier matchup for him compared to those past 4 games. And if we go and check this line once again on the sportsbook, he is set at 36.5 with slight juice towards the under. We're getting him at 35.5. That's an extra PRA where we're getting on our side. There's many ways to miss out on one PRA, so we definitely like the fact that we're getting that extra one on our side. Now, like I said, it is a bit of a slow-paced matchup and a blowout potential, but we're hoping that Banchero is the one striving in this game, having a very good game. It's been a while since he's had a crazy game. But if he is the one doing the blowing out in this game tonight, I don't see a world where both these guys don't cash together. This is the full 6-man slip. Ollie Watkins, I did say I was going to give you a replacement for because this game's going to start soon. So just go over to the OddsJuice dashboard. You could grab any of these picks as long as they're not bumped. I'm going to show you the NBA one specifically. So we got Jake on Memphis here on his under 1.5 3-points made or his under PRA, as well as Tatum's under 8 rebounds. So those are 3 good replacement picks you could go with. Maybe if you like the MLB, go with Jared Jones on his over 2.5 earned runs allowed. That's going to be the replacements for Ollie Watkins. Everything else you should be able to get. So good luck, everyone.